something a little bit different. First time voicing over one of my videos. This is Pat's Acre Racing Complex in Canby, Oregon. Out in Oregon a couple weeks ago, visiting my friend Phil. We were taking his Supra up to the ridge, so I'll probably put that video up at some point. The rental track configuration that we're on is about half a mile. The course itself is actually very smooth, well paved. There's a lot of elevation changes, it's very technical. It's all of the things you kind of want in a track. It makes you think. And finding the line is really fun. The karts are pretty much the best that I have driven. They're very well maintained. There's the usual wear and tear and power differences between karts, but overall I like these karts. This is a lot of fun. So coming out of the final corner, the main straight actually gets to be pretty fast by the end of it, and it leads into this bowl of a first corner. It's very fast. You don't have to brake, you just lift a little bit. I got pushed out by this guy's friend. I'm trying to keep inside, and I find out how sensitive these brakes are. My first kart was very oversteery and constantly countersteering. The second kart was understeery. I had to ride the brakes, so I'm kind of still trying to find this kart. But the motor on this is OP. As a heavier driver, it's rare to get a kart that turns and has power, so this is very welcome. Now after that spin earlier, I am now stuck behind these two, and blue shirt and black hoodie are pretty much going to be the main focal point of this video. There's going to be a lot of aggression coming up, and picking off one aggressive driver at a time is pretty easy, but picking off two, or at least two that are fighting and are at a weight disadvantage, gets to be a little bit difficult. Yeah, it's going to be fun. By fun, I mean frustrating. Blue is very aggressive and forces his way into a lot of things. He's a lot lighter than me, so he can kind of get away with it on the exits, but his entry speed is not optimal. I guess that's the best way of putting it. He's also kind of tense, not using all the track. Give him a little bit of a bump down this back straight before the final corner. Trying to just kind of keep up and try to set up something for my main passing area, which is the bowl. It's similar to the bowl that's at Prairie City in Rancho Cordova. It's also a very deep bowl that you take a lot of speed into. So I see these two bump, and I try to maybe capitalize on something that happened at the exit, but again, got overeaten with the brakes. The lovely part about rental karts is that the triple clutch does not grip unless you're going. So you gotta stay straight, you gotta keep going forward. Alright, so a little bit behind. At this point in time, I'm wondering if I'm going to catch up, but I'm also kind of figuring out the karts still. I know which lines I like to take. Whether or not they're optimal is up to debate. And also, I'm trying to figure out this last corner. All the hairpins are kind of tripping me up. It's kind of trying to find that balance of slip angle and speed. So, again, into the bowl, pretty easy. I'm getting really comfortable with it. Coming back to my Achilles heel here. I opted to take a little bit of a wider exit and sacrifice a little bit of the entry. I found out in the last session I can just jump over that little nick and dive on the kid, sorry. Slowly catching up. The two fighting are not helping Phil's case right now. Watching a video of this track with a faster driver, and noticed that a lot of people like to go way into the limit. I'm gonna try that next time. So, this poor child. I feel really bad about this even to now. Yep, sorry kid. really like this corner too. I just kind of chuck it and just let the cart grip up on the back. This little carousel secondary. It also has a little bit of camber, so you can kind of carry more speed, but it drops off on the exit, so you have to be careful how much you drift out. Took that corner a little bit too early, but now we're caught up to Phil. Phil has had to watch these two for the last 2 laps now. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. Black Hoodie's also having a problem with that corner, and he keeps letting Blue in. I sneak my way in, Phil lets me by. He gets to watch me try to figure a way out past these guys. Several times I've been very close to rear-ending this guy. He's getting tired too. You can see his hand open. Here. Checking to see where Phil is. I feel like I went through that corner super slow. You can kind of see the weighted disadvantage here. Just not keeping up in the middle. So I'm going to send it. And we're going to be 3 wide into this chicane slightly. And now this is the fun one. Black's had enough. Just pushing Blue to get back in there. Phil takes the spot nicely, takes a little bit too much of the curve. Seeing if we're getting caught up. There's one really fast kid on the course, and I'm wondering if I'm going to get a lap if he's following these 2. Phil's picking on me. And just maybe a little bit too much of a check. Phil told me later that he wanted to do a late apex, and I feel like I proved him wrong on that one. I just more comfortable. So here, Black messes up again, and Blue is pushing him. So Black decides I'm going to push Blue to the left, which lets me by finally. I'm hoping Phil had gotten by with me, but he unfortunately was not able to get by. He was worried about getting caught up in their little clash, and these karts don't have seatbelts, so that's valid. Alright, so we're gonna try to get through these next few laps and try to find some speed. After finally passing someone, you kind of have to find your line again. It's really one of those mental things. Speeds is a little bit different, braking points become different, turning points become different. So I'm trying to catch up to Malal and the other 2 who I started behind in the beginning of the video. I'm going to dive bomb this kid again. This corner's so fun. There's so much runoff that we're going to do. We're going to run into this little gaggle. Bilal's in here somewhere. I think he's the one right in front of me. I'm going to go between these 2. And there's Bilal. He lets me by. And that's the end of the session. I hope you enjoyed that. I might do more of these voiceovers for track sessions I find interesting.